It's Jim and Amadeus on a Friday. On a Friday when Colin Morikawa is torching the Valhalla Golf Club in Louisville, Kentucky, at the PGA Championship, and it's already been a lot of news being made down there in Louisville this morning, Amadeus, and it started unfortunately with the death of a gentleman who was hit by a, a passenger bus going into the tournament. And then Scotty Scheffler got into a little bit of a problem this morning.
Yeah, definitely some sad news with the bystander who got hit by the shuttle bus. But yeah, I mean, followed up by the Scotty Scheffler incident. I mean, I thought it was just a little bit ridiculous when I was, reading the story. They
Hmm.
said, traffic misunderstanding, and yeah, I would say a misunderstanding indeed. Just a little bit of ridiculousness from everybody involved there. But yeah, definitely an eventful morning down at Valhalla.
Absolutely. We've got, as I said, Morikawa is at 10 under through 15, and Xander, who yesterday, as you said, is on track to be 36 under par, but by the time Sunday rolls around, he's going to tee off in about 10 minutes or so. So it's going to be an interesting day. He's going to know by the time he tees off, or pretty close to know, what he's got to post to to take the lead into the second day.
Yeah, and he's got a pretty easy job today. Obviously, he had
Mhm.
such a great first day, and obviously, he's not going to replicate that. If he does, I mean, good on him. That
Yeah.
would be very impressive. But he's not going to replicate that, and frankly, he doesn't need to replicate that. All he needs to do
No.
is go out there and play, Morikawa type of game, 5 under. And we
Yeah.
touched on this yesterday. Like Morikawa right now is 10 under for the tournament. He's 5 under today, so he was 5 under yesterday. And that's
Hmm.
exactly what we touched on Xander needs to do,
Yeah.
just stay 5 under for the rest of the tournament, and you probably locking it up come Sunday.
Oh, absolutely. And Scheffler, after having what anyone would say is a trying morning by any standards, being arrested and gone through all the other stuff that went on, is 4 under. So he's staying in the race. It's a pretty good leaderboard, to be honest.
Yeah, he's another one. 4 under today, 4 under yesterday. So obviously, it's the consistency, right? That's why
Right.
we'll see what Xander does, because obviously he had the 9 under day, and we'll see what happens today. Morikawa and Scheffler, I would say, are showing better signs, just because it's a consistency thing, right?
Hmm.
5 under both days versus if Shifley finishes at 10 under, 11 under today, like that's not great. 9 under the first day, 2 under
Hmm.
the second day. Overall, it's good, but consistency wise, it's not as good as
Hmm.
Morikawa or Scheffler the way they've done it so far.
Absolutely. And you've got guys like Finau, who we said yesterday, boy, this guy came out of nowhere and shot a 65. He starts at 333. And then, uh, Rory, who's 5 under right now, is tied for seventh, tied for 12th, I'm sorry, starts at 3 o'clock. So there's some definitely some big hitters out in, waiting for their time to tee off. And it's going to be an interesting day down in Louisville. So plenty
Yeah,
of time left.
we even talked about the young gun Thigala, who creeped up
Hmm.
into 6 under after we got off yesterday.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very interesting, and like I said, right now, if you look at the leaderboard, I mean, the top 10, there's probably a lot of different names in there that you don't see too often, but
Hmm.
obviously that's because those guys are finishing their round, whereas the leaders from yesterday, they're going to be starting soon. So we'll see how it shakes out by the end of the day. But yeah, we definitely have some interesting names that you don't see too often mixed in with the guys you usually see there all the time.
Well, you got, Mark Hubbard is a name um, that is on board here. He's 8 under. And according to the, the stats I have, and you might have a totally different one, uh, he's a plus 4,000 to win. And Harrison English, who's 7 under, is a plus 5,000 to win.
Yeah, you know what? I got my book has some juicier odds on that. We got Hubbard at 4,500
Wow.
and English at plus 7,000. So there you go. That's a good lesson as to why you should always have multiple books and always shop
Hmm.
your line, because many times there was one time at the beginning of last year's baseball season. You could have got at Bet365, you could have got the Atlanta Braves at plus money to win the division because the Mets were favored. And then remember, this was last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Mets were favored, and then I went to DraftKings, and it was the opposite. They had the Braves as the favorite, and you could get the Mets at plus money. So always shop your lines. You never know what you're gonna find. But yeah, those are two guys. Here's some upside for you. So with Hubbard there, you're getting him at 4,500. He's only a little bit past half. He's done 11 holes and he's 2 under on the day, 8 under
Hmm.
for the tournament. But he saw some potential. He could move up to 10 under by the end of his round. So definitely some potential there.
Well, the young guy that you just talked about, Tony Finau, is at plus 3,000 in the Bet MGM.
Yeah, so he's another one. He hasn't started his round, so a
Right.
lot of these guys, and that was a big thing. What I was saying with, that's why I don't like to bet necessarily before the tournament starts, because
Hmm.
now this is the perfect situation. You got guys, obviously, all these guys that haven't started. They're still going to be somewhat favored because they haven't started. But now you're starting to see, some of the lower names where you're going to find the value, right? Like the
Hmm.
Finaus and the Hubbards and things like that. And hey, you're going to get good value on him because the books are looking at it like, oh, well, the better players still haven't started their round. But if we're looking at Hubbard sitting at 11 under after 2 days, that's pretty
Hmm.
good. Now, is he going to hold up over the weekend? That's the real question. But still, you're getting some good value on a player like that who's, probably going to be in the race come the end of Friday.
Well, the other part of it, and we talked about this earlier in the week, is Valhalla and most PGA Championship courses. They try to put themselves in a position where you're looking at, um, they try not to have, usually if you're 5 over, 5 under, you're working hard to get there. These guys are not having any trouble with this golf course. So whatever they tried to do to make it hard, it didn't work because these guys are having their way with that golf course.
Yeah, clearly. And I think this is probably going to be one of those tournaments where come Sunday, the winner's probably going to be somewhere in, the 21 under range or
Hmm.
somewhere like that, 18 to 22 type thing.
It's possible. I mean, they're certainly doing a big job of getting. I mean, when you get double digits as Morikawa has right now, through 15, it's at 10 under. That's on a PGA Championship course. Really, I mean, that's something to brag about. No question about that. And the other thing too is the PGA Championship is one where it's not uncommon to see a guy like a Mark Hubbard or people that you don't know much about win. I mean, this is one of those tournaments where a lot of times it's the first win for an unknown. It may very well be, in some cases, the only win. There's a lot of first and only time winners of the PGA Championship.
Yeah, definitely. So it's gonna be a good one to see
Hmm.
how this shakes out over the weekend for sure. I'm
Right.
excited to see with some of these guys, and I mean, hey, that's the thing, right? It's the course not supposed to
Hmm.
be easy, but we got Morikawa, 5 under both days. Scheffler's 4 under both
Hmm.
days. Xander's putting up a 9 under on one day. So obviously, guys are tearing up the course right now. And
Hmm.
it wouldn't shock me at this rate, yeah, the winner is probably going to be someone who went 5 under every day, and we're probably going to hit close to 20 under by the end of this tournament.
Yeah, Rory's by the way at 600.
Yeah, so there you go. See, this is what I mean. Like,
Hmm.
he was a guy that was creeping up in the
Hmm.
odds before the tournament specifically because he won that tournament over the weekend coming in. So definitely, there's some value to be had here. You get Thigala plus 3,000. He's a guy who hasn't started his round yet. Think about
Right.
that. He's 6 under, and he's like Xander and Rory. They haven't start. He hasn't started his round for the day. So
Hmm.
yeah, there's a chance maybe he doesn't perform well as yesterday. But seeing how some of these other guys are, 5 under, 9 under, it seems like everybody's doing quite well, and there's a large majority of golfers right now between the 4 to 10 under range. I would say take a shot on Thigala plus 3,000 because you never know. Maybe
Hmm.
he has another 4 under day, and he'll be right there with Morikawa at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely some interesting things going on. By the way, if you want to watch, it's on ESPN. I assume it's on TSN in Canada.
Yeah.
And tomorrow and on Sunday, the early round action is going to be on ESPN. And then at 1 o'clock Eastern time on both days, it flips over to CBS, and Jim Nance and the boys take over from there. So ESPN today, early round tomorrow, ESPN on Sunday, and then CBS at 1 o'clock tomorrow and 1 o'clock on Sunday, taking you all the way up pretty much to around 7 o'clock whenever the tournament ends. So there you go on that one. Quick note: if you're a horse racing fan today, as we speak on Peacock and on USA, um, they've got the Preakness early round races, early Friday races, and they will then, of course, have a full day's racing on beginning on USA, and then flips over to Peacock and on NBC at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Post time for the Preakness tomorrow. And by the way, weather is going to be a factor. It's supposed to, it's a 90% chance of rain tomorrow. It's only going to get up around 61, so it's going to be cool. It's going to be definitely damp, and it's going to be a bit of a messy track tomorrow at Pimlico. And race time is 4 minutes before the hour of 7 o'clock for tomorrow's post time. 9 horses will race, and it's going to be an interesting situation from that standpoint. And by the way, just for for those who don't know, Pimlico is the shortest of the 3 races. So speed definitely is a factor at Pimlico. Although if it's a wet track, which it certainly possibly could be, if you're talking about 90% chance of rain, then that definitely puts some interesting twist on it.
Yeah, definitely. We do have the Kentucky Derby champion Mystic Dan racing in this one, but absolutely, if it's going to rain, it completely changes the landscape of this race. Obviously, Mystic Dan won on the longer track in the dry
Hmm.
on a dry day. It wasn't really rainy or muddy at all. If it rains, it's going to completely change the track. And as we know with horse racing, it really matters because some
Hmm.
horses they don't like to run in the mud, others love it even more. So it's going to be interesting, especially on a shorter track like this. You're not going to have as much margin for error because you're going to, as you said, speed is a factor. You're gonna have to get off to a good start and maintain that lead pretty much. But yeah, we'll see if Mystic Dan can get the second leg here and, have be the first horse in a few years now to have a real shot at the Triple Crown.
Yeah, he's running in the 5 hole, which is in the middle of the course, so that's a good draw. One thing about Mystic Dan, Mystic Dan did win, I believe it was the Arkansas Derby, which was a wet track there. So, um, I'm not going to. I do not handicap, so I'm not going to go there. But I will say that if certainly Mystic Dan is not a horse that is shies away from running on a wet course. So, as I say, he won. I believe it was the Arkansas Derby, but I don't have the right in front of me. But he did win one of the major qualifying races prior to going to the Kentucky Derby, and it was on a muddy course. So we'll see. But we'll see how he does at Old Hilltop tomorrow in the race. And Pimlico, once again, those times in the race tomorrow is at 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes before the hour of 7 o'clock post time, and racing all day, Pimlico on Peacock and NBC. All right. Uh, Sunday, my friend, is crazy day. We got a championship to be had in the Premiership and relegation, and all of the games will kick off 3 o'clock for those of you who want to watch, and I know a lot of you do. NBC will have a, the bulk of the matches on NBC, on Peacock, and on USA.
Yeah, so this is we're down to it. It's the final match day. All the games go at 11 o'clock Eastern time on Sunday. There's no games tomorrow, and honestly, there's a lot to play for at the top of the table, but really not too much at the bottom. I mean, a few weeks ago, Sheffield United was already relegated with 16 points. Burnley, I believe it was their last match or even the match before, they have been officially relegated. And even Luton, I don't believe it's official yet, but they would need some miracles to happen there for sure for them to stay up. They would need a win, and Nottingham Forest loss, and they would have a lot of goal differential, about 12 goals to make up there. So definitely this relegation battle is pretty much over. Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield are likely going to be going down to the championship. And I believe so with the championship, we actually have, I know Ipswich is one of the clubs that will be coming up. I forget the team that won that clinched the championship already, but yeah, and then they're doing the playoffs right now, so we'll find out what that third team is. But at the top of the table right now in the Premier League, that's where all the action is. There's one match left, and only two teams can win it. It's either City or it's going to be Arsenal. And at this point in the season, City controls their fate here. They have a 2-point lead over Arsenal. They host West Ham at home in this final match here, and all they need is a win. And if Man City wins this match, then that's it. It's over. They win the title. They control their fate. Now, anything short of a win for Man City makes it a little interesting here. If Man City happens to draw this match and Arsenal were to win, that would make them tied. And this is a very interesting one because right now the goal difference between these two is 60 is the goal difference for Man City and 61 for Arsenal. So they actually Arsenal has the better goal differential. And if Arsenal were to win and Man City draws, that could be that would be Arsenal winning the title there. But like I said, it's all dependent on Man City if they're going to drop points to West Ham. Really, West Ham's going to decide the title. It's up to the Hammers. And similar to Tottenham, I don't know if they necessarily want Arsenal to win the title, so they might lay down and die in front of Man City, we'll see what happens. But yeah, in case those are wondering, Arsenal is hosting Everton in their final match. So
Got all kinds of crazy stuff going on there.
yeah, definitely, it's going to be an exciting one. Specifically, it really the City game is the one to watch. I mean, Arsenal will probably beat Everton at home. They've been playing well lately, so obviously they still need to get the job done. Though, if Arsenal drops any points at all, then it's over. City could lose and Arsenal still wins, or sorry, City could lose and they would still win the title if Arsenal draws or loses this last match. So
So
Arsenal
Arsenal
needs
has
to
to
win.
win.
Yeah, Arsenal has to win, but they need City to drop points. That's how it's got to shake out.
Anything less would not be good.
Yes.
So it's going to be a wild, wild weekend. That's for darn sure. Um, you, from the standpoint of, you know, is it the top four teams in the league that ends up Champions League?
Yeah, so it will be the top four teams normally. It's going
Hmm.
to be in the Premier League this year, but there are a few leagues this year that, like, usually it was four spots for England, Germany, Italy, and Spain. France wouldn't really get four spots. They would
Hmm.
normally only get the two because their league's not as strong. But this year it looks like it's going to be a bit different. Honestly, we have England and Spain are still going to have their top four spots as Champions League spots, but Italy and Germany, due to the fact that both countries have teams. You know, the Germans had two teams in the ones in the final, but they had two in the semifinal for Champions League, and then the Italian league. You know, they got a team in the in the Conference League final and the Europa League final. So yeah, as it stands right now, Germany and Italy actually get the top five are going to have Champions League spots. And even France is getting an extra spot as well. The top three are going to Champions League in that league.
Wow. All right, here you go, boys and girls. As we said before, all of these games will begin on Sunday at 11 a.m. Okay, Manchester City versus West Ham. That game is NBC and Peacock. Arsenal and Everton. That's going to be USA Network and Peacock. Brighton versus Manchester United. That's CNBC and Peacock. Chelsea and Bournemouth. That's the Golf Channel and Peacock. There you go. They're using everything they got left. Brentford and Newcastle. That's Peacock. Brumley and Nottingham Forest. Peacock. Crystal Palace, Aston Villa. Peacock. Liverpool and Wolverhampton is Peacock. Luton Town and Fulham. Peacock. Sheffield United and Tottenham. That's also Peacock. So let's make it easy. If you can, if you have Peacock, you got them all. Okay, that makes it simple. Manchester City and West Ham and Arsenal and Everton. Those are the two games which you said are the most important ones. NBC is going to take Manchester City and USA is going to take Everton. Both of them are on Peacock. So everything is on Peacock from that standpoint. Makes it easy for everyone to watch the games. Pre-game show comes on at 10 a.m. On NBC and Peacock, and Rebecca Lowe, of course, is your host on that. She's been there all season long, doing an outstanding job. Lee Dixon, who played for Arsenal, is one of the key play-by-play. I'm sorry, analysts, along with Robbie Earl, Robbie Musto, and former U.S. men's national team and Premier League goalkeeper Timmy Howard rounds out your commentary team for the pregame on both NBC and Peacock starting at 10. So if you're a soccer fan, you better just lock yourself in because you got a lot of games going on and they all go off at once.
Get your 20 screens out.
Yeah, or at least two. because those are
Definitely. At least, like I said, they might not be great games to bet. You're not going to find a ton of value on the Arsenal and
mhm,
City match, but those are the two you should be watching. It's for the title. This is it, right? It's the
mhm.
last day of the season, and it's for the title. Those are the two matches with the biggest implications by far.
And that's all you need, right? That's what you want, and that's what hopefully you'll get. I'm doing a real quick refresh just on the leaderboard to give those of you who want to know what's going on. I still have if I'm wrong because um, you know Amadeus has may have his may have refreshed quicker than mine. Colin Morikawa still has a 10 under through 15. Mark Hubbard still at 9 under through 12. Xander Scheffley has not started yet. He will do that at 2:38. Scotty is at 8 under through 14, and Harris English remains at 7 under. He just finished, so he's done for the
Yes, so
day.
I do have an update on that. I have
Okay.
the live odds are a little quicker on my end here. Colin Morikawa is through 17,
Okay.
and he must have birdied each of those holes because he's now at 12 under for the
Whoa.
tournament, 7 under on the day with one hole to play, and even Hubbard is now at 10 under for the tournament. He's
Wow.
4 under on the day through 13 holes. So he still has, 5 to go there as well.
So Morikawa is he's 7 under.
He's 7 under for the day. He's almost matching Scheifele's day yesterday.
That's ridiculous. That's I mean we're gonna wrap this up here pretty soon, but I just have to say this is a Jack Nicklaus course that's a 71 par course. Shooting 62 and 63 and 64, that is just not done.
Yeah, these guys are tearing up the course this week. Like even Hubbard, and we
Yeah,
literally said like 10 minutes ago that you could have got great value. You could still get him at plus 3,000. I see it here. He was what,
really?
4,500, and he's at 10 under. And he still has 5 holes to play. Like he's hot. He's 4 under on the day, so it's hard for me to see him just unraveling in the last 5 holes. I'm not saying he's gonna. Maybe he stays at 10 under. Maybe he loses a stroke, but he's not gonna unravel in these 5 holes. It's just
Well,
these
and
guys are
this
tearing it up.
well, and the point on Hubbard, right, is Hubbard came into this, you know, came into this tournament from a standpoint of yesterday. He's not wilting. That's the thing, right? I mean, he's still there and making hay. So this would be 2 days in a row that Hubbard, is playing. He's balling out. So it
Yeah.
doesn't look like he's gonna. Tomorrow doesn't look like he's gonna melt. So he's gonna be around.
Yeah, and
And then we
obviously,
know,
with Morikawa
yeah,
there, 15 and 16, or yeah, sorry, 16 and 17 are totally birdieable. So he's
yeah.
still got those 2 strokes left on the table.
Well, and what do you have on Scotty? I've got Scotty Scheffler at 8. Is he still at
Yeah,
8?
he's still at 8 through 15. So I
Okay.
guess
So he had a par on 14.
yeah, he's parring his way through. But like I said, he's actually pulling up to those 2 holes that Morikawa just shot up
Right.
another 2 in. So we'll see. Maybe Scheffler comes out -10 by the time he gets to 18.
Oh man. It's I'll tell you what. This is going to be a fun tournament to watch. You got what a day. I mean, what a weekend. You can watch the tournament on Saturday and Sunday. And then Sunday you can watch the soccer and then flip over and catch the end of the tournament.
Yeah, yeah, and then after this, crazy weekend that we're having with all these sports, then it leads right into the French Open for tennis next week too. So it's
Oh
like,
man, I forgot about that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And by the
it's like
way,
the Rome final this weekend.
you got a New York Knicks game tonight, which is going to be pretty crazy. They're on the road against the Pacers. Um, Boston's already taking care of business. By the way, in hockey, there's a very good possibility, not a very good possibility, but a possibility, let's put it that way, that you could get the Rangers and the Bruins in a Eastern Conference final. Although I think that's going to be the Rangers and Florida, but we'll have to take a look and see how that is. So, all right, that leads us to you, my friend. You've got a entire weekend of fun stuff coming up. What's going on?
Yeah, make sure you check out my premium picks at bigal.com, pickadvisor.com, and theinsidersroom.com. The link's in the description below. Today I got some action on the pitch for you to get at 3 o'clock. So make sure you check that out. One is in Serie A and one's in the English Championship. I also have a play up in the MLB, the NBA, and the WNBA tonight. So I've been hot in both sports. I'm on a 3-0 MLB run and a 3-0 NBA run with my last three picks in each. And this is my first WNBA play of the season. So make sure you check all that out.
There you go. All right, everybody, have a nice weekend, and we will see you again on Monday, where we'll find out who a lot of champions will be, who won the PGA Championship, as well as what went on down in the Premier League. So plenty of fun stuff to look at forward to, and we'll see you on Monday, everybody. Take care. Have a nice and safe weekend.